Hey, Paisanos, Cody Baynard here, and today I am going to be discussing my thoughts on the latest record from Insomnium titled Anno 1696. This is the latest studio album from this Finnish melodic death metal band that made quite a bit of a name for themselves due to their very distinctively dark, melancholic, dramatic, and emotive take on Melodeath, which resulted in a lot of really awesome songs on some pretty killer records, such as Above the Weeping World and Shadows of a Dying Sun. While their sound does have a lot of inherent appeal, it is also, to a degree, the reason why I've been relatively unmotivated to dive into their discography that much. The songwriting style that is found on the songs that I have heard is very similar, which can make things bleed together a little bit for me. Sometimes I found myself wondering, like, how long it would take before their sound becomes relatively tired out, because you can really only stick to the same guns for so long before, if we're sticking to that metaphor, those guns become aged and tired out. And I'm beginning to feel that this is happening with this latest record. Apparently, what makes this one different is the fact that conceptually it dives into Scandinavian history and witch hunters and stuff like that. But I feel like if you attached that exact same subject matter to anything else that I have heard from their discography, the effect of that would not change in the slightest. Because musically, pretty much everything that Insomnium do on here, they have done before on other albums. And for a good amount of time, they do little to almost nothing to refine or expand on the sound that they have become known for. Tracks like the opening title track, Lillian, and The Witch Hunter, while still decently enjoyable songs for what they are, all just feel like I'm listening to Insomnium 101, with very similar types of riffs, melodies, beats, vocals, etc. Yes, they do occasionally go into more blackened flavor with these tremolo riffs and blast beats and whatnot, but they've done that before also on other albums as well, to the point where even that doesn't really feel all that novel on some of these tracks either. This is especially the case with the track Lillian, which, exaggerating just a little bit, if you told me that this was an AI generated Insomnium song and I didn't know any better, I might believe you at least partially. There are times when Insomnium tries something a little bit different, although not really. And while that can work sometimes, which I'll get to in a little bit, there are times where it can actually sound even worse. Take, for instance, the song White Christ, featuring Sakis Tolis from the band Rotting Christ doing guest vocals. Instrumentally, this song puts a bit more emphasis on the more doom metal oriented aspects of their sound, with these more slow-paced riffs and chord progressions that are fine for what they are, but aren't really all that melodically interesting or moving, in my opinion. And the guest vocals from Sakis are bad. Like, they're so forced, so corny. The howling of the night! The track The Unrest, on the other hand, is a penultimate folky ballad, which has a lot of potential to be a very genuinely tender and emotive piece, especially since the song does feature a really nice melody during its hook. However, half the song is ruined for me due to these really corny spoken word passages. We sail into the darkness. Ugh. I get that Insomnium do use these types of spoken word passages on other songs, both on this album and other songs on other albums as well. And even then, it can kind of rub me the wrong way, but especially on here, since they take up such a massive chunk of a brief folk song. However, there are 3 tracks that do kind of save this record quite a bit for me, and which are the 3 that I have yet to get into. These 3 are these 7 to 8 minute epics where the band utilized more progressive ideas and switch ups that are genuinely quite thrilling and exciting and sometimes quite moving. It really kind of shows the band utilizing their sound in relatively more adventurous ways. And I mean, sure, yes, they've also done stuff like this on other albums as well, but I still feel like they're capable of executing that in really captivating and exciting ways on here as well. This is especially the case when it comes to what is easily my favorite track on the record, titled God Forsaken, featuring guest vocals from Johanna Kukela, I think is how you pronounce her name. I apologize if I'm butchering that. Johanna utilizes some really ethereal singing that effectively contrasts the progressive death metal brutality. Around the middle part or so, there's this really interesting break where the band go into what almost sounds like Middle Eastern style passages before everything leads up to this really grandiose and triumphant and emotive finale. This is to me probably the one really great track on the record. And it honestly kind of surprises me that they didn't place this at the very end because this really feels like it would make for an incredibly conclusive finale to the whole album. I mean, sure, the album's actual closer, The Rapids, is also a really interesting track as well, but still. Now, if you take away its subject matter, for a good amount of time, this to me just feels like an Insomnium album that just kind of exists. If you just absolutely love the sound of Insomnium, I'm sure this will do something for you, as it is with a lot of other people more than me. But personally, I really wish that Insomnium would do a little bit more to still make their sound feel fresh and exciting. And while they can do that sometimes on this record, it's not enough to make it a great album. It's enough to make it a decent album, though. I'm also just like really curious as to what exactly I'm missing here, because a lot of people seem to be loving this way more than I am, and good for them, but still. But yeah, I have not that much more to say about it. It's fine. It's decent. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts on the latest record from Insomnium. What did you think of this record? Did you like it? I hope you did more than I did, because this seems to be pretty critically acclaimed as of now, and good for those who are loving it. Please feel free to like and subscribe and comment and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.